another project that you can do with your kids today while you're sheltering in place. It utilizes adult coloring books. I have an adult coloring book. I enjoy it. Seldom do I finish any of them. I move on to a new one every time I get in it, and at some point I had several of them and had never done anything with them. What do you do with them after you finish? They are pretty, but you know, I couldn't really think of anything to do with them. And one day it dawned on me, make envelopes out of them. And it happened to think of it today because I was getting ready to just send a little postcard to a lot of my friends and family and let them know that I was thinking of them. I'm not a good phone person, so I didn't really want to call anybody. But I do want my family members to know that I hope they're well, and I am thinking about them. And so I got out my envelopes and I thought, wow, I should share that with you guys. So here they are. And they're super simple to make. I'll show you. So here are some of my envelopes that I've made. They're really very cute. You do have to put a label on them to put the address if you're going to mail them in the U.S. mail. But a friend of ours, his daughter, had a great idea. She was getting ready for her birthday party, and they stopped by the house while I was making these. And she had the idea of putting her birthday party invitations in them. So that's a great use for them as well. All you need is adult coloring book or children's coloring book. You could even use your own children's artwork if you have that available. It tends to accumulate, and a lot of times parents don't know what to do with it. Glue stick, pair of scissors, pencil, a ruler, an envelope, just a regular envelope from the stationery store. You moisten the glue edges and unfold it. Sometimes it's pretty wrinkly, and what I end up doing is ironing it. You can trace around this for your pattern, or in my case, I've made so many of these over the years that I cut a template out of a thicker sheet of cardstock. That way it's easier to trace around, holds up a little better, and like I said, I've reused it over and over and over again. You can use a ruler when we get to folding it, but if you happen to have one of these available, it's to cut paper. But in addition to cutting paper, it has a little piece that creases paper for, I guess it's made for people who make cards. That tool you can use to crease these, and it's a lot faster than using the ruler to crease them and fold them over. But you don't need this. Ruler works just fine. You're gonna take your template, trace around it with pencil, cut it out. Now if you're making a lot of them, I usually do it sort of factory style and trace all of them at once, cut all of them at once. You have a lot to cut. There's a great tip on using scissors. Never move your scissor arm always move your paper. Never leave your scissors still. And use your other hand to move the paper around. It alleviates a lot of fatigue on your scissor hand, and if you're doing projects where you're cutting a lot of paper, you notice the difference by the end of a day. I've done a lot of paper projects. Voila. Now you can mark on your template. Most of the time on envelopes, you're just going to do a straight crease down corner to corner. Same holds true on this. Does get a little convoluted sometimes with the coloring. It's hard to see. But you're going to take your ruler, match those corners, and fold up against the edge of the ruler. Simple. Or this little tool, you line up corners along this guideline. Run this, don't put a lot of pressure on it. It can cut through even though it's not a blade. If your paper is thin, it can cut through. The one nice thing about using this is it keeps your envelope square. Line up along the bottom edge. I've had a few wonky looking envelopes when I've used the ruler. In fact, that first side that I folded is just a tad bit crooked. And from there, just going to use a glue stick. Glue along the edge of the flaps on the side. Sometimes if you put the glue on here and you glue it down, and if there's any left over, it glues the envelope together. No bueno. And of course, when you go to use it, you're going to need the glue stick to fold the top of it down. You can go ahead and crease the top if you want and get it ready. Voila! Then when you're ready to go, if you're mailing it in the US mail, put a label on it. There you go. Now sometimes I go ahead and take my labels and a magic marker and add a little bit of color. just to make them look pretty. Hope you enjoyed the project.